Good evening, everyone. This is again episode 5 of Virtual Coffee House. We just want to apologize for the technical difficulties of our live video, but this time we're just going to record it because we are looking after our candidates and we don't want to miss this. And I would like to acknowledge again the presence of the President of Bison Corporation. So, hi, Miss Belen.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Thank you po. And yeah, so we'll just go on the gist of this live. So the purpose of this one is we want to inform everyone, and also Miss Belen is going to discuss all the recruitments happening in the Philippines. And without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Miss Belen. And also I would like to greet Warwick and Min. Hi guys, thank you for tuning again. Thank you for your patience. And yeah, take over, Miss Belen. Thank you.
I think it's already good evening there. A little update of the recruitment about workers, OFW, employers, and worldwide work status. At the moment in the Philippines, there are 16,000 OFW at OWA under quarantine. So every day I think they are releasing like 1,500, 200 after results are coming out that they are negative. But on the sea-based sector, there are already 50,000. Yesterday the number was 45,000, and they are expecting today that it's going to be 50,000 seafarers that going to lose their job. There are more than hundreds of ships are already parked at Philippine sea area that they are waiting for the quarantine of their staff. And according to the news, the Philippines is expecting 500,000 workers to go home. It's either they will lose their job, or there is no job at the moment, or work online, or whatever. But a minimum of 500,000 will be expected to arrive. In the Middle East, 2 weeks ago, All Polo announced that there will be a flight every day, 2 times a week to fly to Philippines to repatriate workers.
Okay.
First is once a week, then it's become 2 times a week, then it's become 3 times a week flights to Philippines, and now it's everyday flight to Philippines. You know, this is only in the Middle East. Okay, so a lot of countries are still on lockdown, and the receiving countries, some are total lockdown, some are partially locked down or enhanced. In the Philippines, last Monday, government announced partial, enhanced, modified in Metro Manila lockdown. So POEA, OWA, DFA, DOLE, and other government departments announced that there are lists of companies or businesses are going to open, and there are lists, but not all. And from the list, partially, remotely, workers are working, but only some are coming to the office because there is no mass transport yet. So only if you have a car, a motorbike, or a bike to go to the office, then you can go. Last Monday, we tried to file documents at POEA to get an OEC, but no people. And POEA said they are open. DFA, they said they are open and they will accept all transaction, but no people. And then when they get there, when the liaison get there, they said that, well, the people, they did not go because no transportation. So meaning there is an announcement that officially there is a transaction, but no transaction because no people. Okay. So now, let's say Germany, they are now open to accept workers, but under the condition that they have to go rapid test and at the cost of employer, and also Japan. But some prefecture in Japan, meaning some provinces are open, but some are closed, so not in general. So some countries, they are accepting workers to arrive, but they have to undergo rapid test. But how can we send the workers where we cannot process them because we are not yet fully operational? Yeah, let's say New Zealand will open and you are already on the second wave or enhanced, whatever. But we cannot also process because embassies are closed. POEA has no people to process, you know. See, this is what we experienced for Germany and for Japan. So this is the thing now. So at the moment at Bison, on the first wave, because March, April, May, we have already, first phase, we already informed for retrenchment about 13 people. So of 64 staff, we become 51. So this is what we have at the moment. And then remotely, we are working, but we have also 13 staff that they are reporting at Bison because they only live a walking distance from the office. But we also told them that if they can do it remotely, online, they can do it. But of course, we have a new setup of reporting, program, etc.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. Just a question, like, how's the financial assistance for the displaced of OFW?
Yes, okay. This is, at the moment, this is a chaos.
Yeah.
A chaos issue of DOLE. DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment, announced that there will be $200 assistance to the workers. That this is a COVID assistance all over the world, as long as you are registered under POEA, because a lot of workers also, they are not registered at POEA, so that they are not included. Like, for example, those people who went to Dubai, they went as a tourist and then become a contract worker, and then they don't have OEC, they are not included. So only those who has OEC registered under POEA, they will be receiving $200 US. So there is an issue in Saudi Arabia when DOLE announced all the people, or most of the people that on lockdown in Saudi, that like hotel, restaurant, malls, merchandiser, etc., they went to Polo. And then the government of Saudi reprimand the Philippine government that there is a lockdown. How come all these Filipino, they went to Polo, they went to the embassy to get this $200? Yeah. Because there's no clear guidelines how to get it, how to comply, how to submit, etc. So recently, I think last month, there's a complete guidelines, but a lot of workers, they were not able to comply because it's like impossible for the workers to submit all these documents due to lockdown, you know, because they have to get an employment certificate, payroll, blah blah blah, you know. I sent to Michelle the complete requirements and flow of process of how to avail this $200. There are only few workers who got the $200, but I think not even 25%, you know, that they got it. So still there are an issue. That's why some of them or most of them, when they arrive in the Philippines, that's the only time that they got the documents and then apply. And then they were advised to wait and then follow up.
Okay, thank you for that information. Yeah.
Just like in the Philippines, DOLE announced that all workers registered at DOLE, they will be receiving 8,000, and then all employers comply and submit, and then later on they said no, only for the small company. Not even they said only for small and medium. Now it's become for only small, not anymore medium. So under Bison we did not get any. Okay. So now under SSS, there is aside from DOLE, SSS announced that they will be giving a 1 month salary on the 2 time, and then it will be a loan package, and there is a process also. So Bison was able to comply, and then now Bison received on the first tranche of 8,000, and then another 8,000 maybe on the end of this month, or we don't know, you know.
Okay.
Because sometimes they announce, but no, you know.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for that information and the process. And for now, I just want to ask and welcome Warwick again. If you have any questions, or if you have anything to discuss about immigration, yeah, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Clarence, and good evening and welcome to everyone for another Coffee House chat. Again, thank you, Belaine, for your attendance. Belaine, for everyone's knowledge, is the President of Bison Management Corporation, our agency in the Philippines and partner in helping us do what we do in terms of recruiting Philippine staff to come to New Zealand. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Also, welcome again to Min. Hopefully you can give us some further advice and information around the updates that are currently happening with immigration tonight. So tonight I just want to focus on giving some further updates regarding mainly employers and the changes that are coming into effect in the labour market check. So as you're aware, prior to lodging a visa application, it's essential that we do a labour market test to show a genuine attempt by the employer to recruit New Zealanders by way of advertising and use of other appropriate avenues to recruit or likely attract New Zealanders for the position. So the good news is, PC Recruitment, we do that part of the process for the employers. So we do the labour market check. We handle everything involved in developing contracts and job descriptions and performing that part of the task for employers in the visa application. So as you can imagine, currently with unemployment on the rise in New Zealand, this process is going to become more challenging over the coming months, and I suppose until we see where things go with unemployment, we're just expecting some increase in requirements from Immigration New Zealand to complete that process. So when advertising a position, we're going to require things such as position title, accommodation type and value, the roster that the staff member will be on, the hourly rate or what they're paid, if training will be provided, if a qualification is necessary to meet the requirements of the position, and also just an initial information about the employer. So how many staff are currently employed, if it is a dairy farm, the number of cows, the hectares, the type of shed, the contour of the farm, And then additionally, the health and safety requirements. And lastly, additional info about the requirement for experience on the job is going to be something that we'll be focused on going forward. So we will be supporting the labour market tests that we submit with a summary from CCR in terms of the results of the advertising that we do on all sources. We're expecting also that immigration will be requesting proof directly from employers around sustainability. So this might be such things as financial statements or PAYE and GST records. We'll also need to provide industry updates such as fed farmers, remuneration reports, or updates from Dairy NZ regarding labour market shortages. So in summary, when we begin the process for you, please be prepared for us to request some additional information, and assisting us with gathering that information will be important to the application process. So to support an application, it will be irrelevant to include anything that the employer's done in terms of attempts to recruit staff prior to requesting our services. So if you have that information on hand, or you've gone out of your way to try and source staff for the farm position before coming to us, then that will be helpful information that we could use as well. So last thing I want to mention tonight is just for those applications that are currently in process. As these applications are picked up and processed by Immigration New Zealand in the coming weeks, it is likely that an immigration advisor or officer will contact the employer directly to confirm that the position is one still available, but also request additional information about the availability of New Zealanders for the role being offered. So the point there is we have to submit a labour market test prior to submitting the application. But as it's taken a long time for Immigration New Zealand to process applications, from time to time, they're going to request additional information to verify that the labour market check is still valid, being at the time that we submitted the application compared with the time that the application is processed. So we've seen this firsthand over the last week and expect it will be more commonly occurring over the coming weeks. So just a heads up for those employers out there, if you've got an application in process and it's sort of finally been picked up and handled by Immigration New Zealand, then expect a phone call or just something to verify that you are still planning on hiring that person, so that they can check that off before they put further time and effort into the application. So that's it from me tonight. Thanks all for attending, and a special thanks for Belaine to join us this evening. I'll now pass you over to Min Marshall, who will give you a bit more of an update on immigration matters. Thank you.
Everyone, and it's lovely to see Madame Belaine. So I will just start with a quick update on visa processing. Immigration New Zealand has increased their capacity to process visa applications since when we moved to level 2 last week. So we are seeing a few onshore applications being processed, and we are quite glad to receive new visas in the last few days. So we, as Warwick has already mentioned, we ask everyone to be patient. The priorities of Immigration New Zealand have remained the same. The New Zealand border remains closed to all except for New Zealand citizens and residents. They are currently considering the situation of those currently outside of New Zealand whose visas have either expired or will expire. So more information on this will be provided when it is available, and we will definitely mention this at our next session. So again, if you believe, those who believe that they meet the exceptions criteria, you will need to submit a request for an exception to the border restrictions. You must consider also availability of flights to New Zealand and any travel restrictions in other countries that you may be transiting to before you file any request for exception. So just briefly, I will briefly touch on policy changes. I will not be speaking about the full policy changes, but rather touch on what most of you have raised in the last few weeks. So the first one is the family of workers. The government will reinstate that the ability for workers being paid under the median wage to bring in their family members, and they will come on visitor and for the children on student visas. This will take effect on July 1 this year. So, but of course we need to take into account the current border closure. Another thing is the AMSCO. A lot of you have asked about it. INZ will continue to use this until the end of June, the previous AMSCO version, which is version 1.2. This, you will remember that AMSCO was refreshed in October last year. So, so those are for essential work visa holders, which most of the questions have come from those visa holders. The skill level of your job remains the same for the duration of your visa. So just making it clear. Now, if you apply for a work visa under essential skills in mid-2020, meaning July 1, the AMSCO will no longer be used to assess the skill level of your job. So we will be discussing it with you on a case-by-case basis. Now, those who are applying for under skilled migrant category for residents after June 30, the new version of AMSCO will be used to assess your job. Another question that keeps popping up is about the stand down policy. Now that will remain as a policy and it will take effect from August this year. So those, so what it means is that for those new work visa, essential skills work visa holders, who are earning below the median income, the maximum stay of 36 months is the policy, and then it will be followed by a 12-month stand down. Now, this is part of the employer-assisted temporary work visa policy, which will take effect in 2021. So those, from next year, migrants can only apply for a visa once the employer check and the job check have been passed. So that's only a very short version, and I didn't touch all of it. I just wanted to bring up those policies that are being asked by our audience. Back to you, Clarence.
So thank you so much, Min, for that information. And do you have any questions, Miss Belen to Min or Min to Belen, like regarding the services that still the Bison is offering, or since the applications for the workers in New Zealand are still on hold, Miss Belen, do you have any plans or do you have any advices for those who are still trapped in the Philippines? And what are your other options that you can give to them?
Okay. I will go back with the OFW assistance from DOLE. The information and the process, the list of requirements are posted at Bison Facebook account. You can check on there, and you can browse all the information that you may be needing, and we can also assist you and help you if there's a need that documents are needed from Bison. With regards to the other information about New Zealand coming from POEA or DOLE, we are also sharing it to CCR. You CCR, you can also post it for Filipino, for the workers to view them. Okay, you can also announce. So I will be forwarding you also so that we are in tandem of giving them information. And together with the other assistant that Philippine government announced. So all those info are at Bison Facebook account. With regards to the workers who were trapped or due to lockdown, they were not able to leave. And supposed to be, there are flights that for the nationals only going to New Zealand, but only for the national, because New Zealand government only welcome the New Zealand nationals who are coming and were trapped in other or different countries. But for the workers, there is no guidelines yet that we need to comply, and soon the New Zealand embassy will announce that. Like compared to other embassies or other countries, they already announced what procedure that they will be they wanted to follow, the procedure that partner countries that they want them to follow. Those workers who were locked down, and even in the Philippines, not all cities or provinces are already on the enhanced or modified ECQ. So there's no transportation yet, like buses, like the mass transportation. To go, the ships that inter-island destination, there are also specific island that were allowed, and the top priority are the OFW on cruise ship that are already 2 months, 1 month on the quarantine. Those are the only priority that will be transport. And to go are also owned by a shipping company that are also catering seafarer in different countries. And as I said, there are all these 16,000 at OWA now, and there are 45,000 expected, and they were saying that expected are 500,000 OFW that they might lose their job. So even we wanted to help the workers going to New Zealand on lockdown, we cannot also help them because also government offices, embassies are also still closed. And we don't have also job at the moment that we can offer, or we can tell them or share with them. So even the local staff of Bison, we are also struggling because almost every day Dole has an announcement. Yesterday they announced like this, but today they realized then they have to announce another new one, So from time to time there's a memo.
Okay. Well, at least everyone is aware of that, what is happening in the Philippines. How about you, Arik or Min? Do you have any question for Miss Belen?
I suppose it's just around for offshore candidates that we're waiting on processing. Currently government offices are open, but there's lack of public transport to get to government offices. I suppose, is there a time frame or a date on when we can expect that people will be able to transport to government offices to get their requirements met so that they can potentially travel when borders open? I know that there's still a lockdown in Manila currently until the end of May. Is it likely that that's going to be extended, or do we know any sort of information around that?
Yeah, at the moment, this is the first wave or first phase of enhanced ECQ. The government is checking on the impact of enhanced or modified ECQ. If there's no APEC or no new cases coming, they were saying that officially on the 1st of June, there will be a second phase. There will be a second phase of working condition. So this is the first phase, which is last Monday, the whole day this week. But there are affected, reported, and then they were saying that the flattening of the curve is getting better. So they were thinking that it is already a plan that effective June, the enhanced will become general. General meaning in some part of Luzon, it will become general enhancement. So meaning officially all people transport, it will going to it's on the go. So if that is the case, if there is no report until tomorrow, then that means officially on the first week of June, the general enhancement, it will be pushed through, and then officially all transport will be officially open. And but yesterday and today I heard that yesterday there are first there are 7 and then become 17. Today there are additional. So how can we flatten the curve? So now, but the business people, they are already shouting. They are already they are the one who's looking for a solution, remedy, so that the workforce will start. So yesterday it was announced that the five big companies announced that there is a rapid test. There is a rapid test to test the 51,000 employee of one company at their own expense, you know.
Yep.
And imagine government will not help, but the businesses will do and will cover. And the rapid test, it costs 1,600. That means 35 US dollar or 35 NZ will cost them. So a lot of company are struggling where and how they will get that amount. But of course they have to come back. And then the workers, because they need a job, they want to go back. They are thinking that they will make a loan, they will advance, but the company will pay. So there are a lot of talks that being taken, and so maybe it will be announced maybe tomorrow, Monday, or before the announcement of general enhancement will be implemented, you know. So now we are busy now of discussing how much is this rapid test, who will do it, how long it will take, how many minutes is the result, etc., etc. So we are now discussing, because not only protecting each other, but not only protecting each other in the office, but also in general, you know, because if these people will go out to their houses, so start from the transport, start to the canteen, to the supermarket, and everywhere, and it will become in general. So you see 20 million in Metro Manila, I don't think it will flatten the curve, you know. So there are provinces that they are already on the general enhancement, fully operational, but in Metro Manila, not yet. But in Pampanga, they are already, and Ilocos and the other, you know, they are already on the general enhancement. So,
Okay.
but I think Metro Manila, though there are list of businesses that only allowed, you know.
Okay, cool. Basically, everyone is waiting for the new normal, especially in the Philippines. And thank you
Yes.
so much for that. Before we end, I just want to ask any last words from Min and Warwick, and then I would just like to apologize everyone for the technical difficulties that we have, but we are trying to record this one. And if you have any questions, please comment on the section box on our on the video, and then we will try to answer it on our next live. Yeah. So back to you, Warwick.
Yeah, no, nothing more from me. I suppose it's still a bit of a case of week by week we're finding out more information. We're getting used to the new normal, and we're just learning as we go. So as much as possible, we'd like to give updates on a general format so that everyone can sort of see what changes are occurring and when they're occurring. But if there's specific requirements, yeah, feel free to give us a call or make an appointment to come to the office and check things out so that we can, you know, give you additional information and update as much as we can on each individual case. So, yeah, thanks for your time tonight. And yeah, again, thanks, Belen, for joining us from the Philippines. Your
Yes, you're welcome.
input has been very valuable, and I suppose it just gives our viewers a bit of an insight into what is happening in other countries. And being in the Philippines, it's a large part of what we deal with, so it's very valuable to have some input on what you're dealing with in your country. Thank you.
Yeah, would you like to
welcome.
Would you like to add, Min, before we close?
It's just quickly, thank you very much, Madam Belen, for the update. Yesterday, actually, Immigration New Zealand has acknowledged those migrant workers in New Zealand who are currently in the Philippines, the difficulty and how challenging it is for them, for their families, for their employers. So they are going to work on this, and that we should hear soon as to how they're going to address this. So they are currently considering their situation. Thank you.
Again, this is a virtual coffee house of CC Recruitment. Thanks for your time, Ms. Belen. Thank you for spending time with us and answering all the questions related to the Philippines. And also Min and Warwick, thank you so much for your patience. Once again, guys, we will upload this video, and hopefully if you have questions, we will answer on our next line. Thank you, and see you again next Friday, same time, 7 p.m. Hopefully everything's gonna turn out well. Thank you, guys, and keep safe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.